As the psalmist said, Hine ma tov. Shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be able to sit together and see all of you in person to welcome the new year. The cantor and I have gone through many revisions of how we were trying to figure out how to see all of you. We had wise guidance. We had so many people working so hard. And here we are. The day could not be more beautiful, and we are so glad to see all of you. For those of us who are joining on Zoom, we are so glad to have you with us too. We hope that wherever you are, the sunshine is pouring through your window, and if it's not, then the sunshine here is pouring through the Zoom screen to you. And we are still one community, separated by 6 feet and by little Zoom boxes, but together to welcome this new year. A poem for the new year by Rabbi Baronblot. Here's the thing. The new year begins, the year begins anew, even in the worst of times. The leaves will turn and fall, and they'll grow again. And sometimes we're afraid, and we can't know what choice to make to keep anyone safe. Uncertainty's a bear. All we can do is seek out sweetness everywhere we may, and work to fix what brokenness we find. The good news is we're not in this alone. We'll help each other hope when light seems dim, and lift the sparks that darker days reveal. We'll love each other fiercely. In the end, there is no greater work that we can do. We who survive will help each other heal. So we want to begin this Rosh Hashanah with a blessing. It's a blessing we might say throughout the year. You might recognize it from the first night of Hanukkah, from services when we made Kiddush, the toast to the new year, for the first time this year. When you taste a ripe fruit in its season for the first time. And today, when we welcome our community back, when we welcome each other back, when we welcome Rosh Hashanah here in the backyard, in the back patio. We are sitting on the straw, but we are here. A blessing for being here, for the gift of knowing that we never again will take it for granted that we are. A gift for this day. May it be the first, so sweet and precious as it is. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal our God. You fill up the universe with majestic might. You have given us life. You have sustained us, and you have enabled us to reach this season and this new year. Tekiah. Since we began our services this morning, we continue now with the service for the reading of the Torah in community, We begin on page 227. Invite you to rise as you are able. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malechut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yiten Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Continue on 228 with the words Adonai, Adonai, special liturgy for this day. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai, 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 El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai. Erech Hapayim B'Rav Chesed Adonai, Noseh Chesed L'Alfim, Noseh Avon B'Pesha, V'Chata V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai, 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 El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai. Erech Hapayim B'Rav Chesed Adonai, Noseh Chesed L'Alfim, Noseh Avon B'Pesha, V'Chata V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai, 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 El Rachum V'Chanun Adonai. We remain standing as we remove the Torah from the ark. Shema Yisrael Adonai Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh V'Norah Shemo Lecha. You may be seated. We begin in just a moment to open up this Torah scroll and read this haunting story of the time the world turned upside down. Last year, we read through this whole story, thinking about the world we were living in has turned upside down. But there's a different verse that I'm going to invite us to focus in on this year. Right there in the first Aliyah, we'll translate it as we read. God tells Abraham to go to a place that will be shown. Can you imagine setting forth yet another journey? This is Abraham who was told, Lech lecha, go forth, leave the land you were born in, leave your family, leave everything behind, and who knows where you're going. And now again, he's told in this upside down world, you'll figure out where you're going once you're already on your way. And so it is with us. The direction's changing at every turn. We'll find out where we're going when we're on our way. And the new year in front of us, with no roadmap, all the plans shredded on the floor. And what lies ahead of us? Our darkest anxieties, I think, reflect what we will read from the Torah this morning. But our hearts teach us that the choice that is made and the path that is outlined for us, these can guide the way. I'm going to invite up our first Torah reader, first Torah reader, Cheryl Harper, to read Torah for us. And the first Aliyah, we'll do these Aliyot similarly to how we've done them in the past, with a couple of technological adjustments. You can't all come up here this year, whether you're in person, and even the Zoom people, I want you all to come up here too, but they've told me it's not possible, even though they're very good at the technology. So instead, here's what we'll do. If you're on Zoom, we'll do it the same way we did last year. I hope you have your camera on for as much of the service as you can, but right now, turn your cameras off. And then if you want to come up for one of the Aliyot, then you'll just turn your camera right on and everyone on Zoom will know that you are stepping up for that Aliyah. If you are here in person, then you can stand up in your feet or on your seat, sit a little taller in your seat if that's easier, get up out of your chair and stand tall if you can. We can't all come up here, but we'll still invite you literally to rise for this Aliyah. We'll do 3 Aliyot this morning. 3 Aliyot about how we make our way in the world in the midst of so much uncertainty. The first Aliyah is for those of you who have or who are trying to manage uncertainty through action, through making this world a better place in whatever ways that we can. If that's how you've coped with this past new year, and if that is what you're hoping to do in this current uncertain world, then I'll invite you to rise for this Aliyah. And it's my honor to invite, as a representative of all of you, Helene Bloodman up for the first Aliyah to symbolize, to recognize all the work that she has done on the Social Action Committee, and Bill Madway, who's one of our ushers, will rise from his place as the co-chair of our Social Action Committee. Where's Helene? So Helene, come on up. Helene, come on up. And everybody else who is rising for this Aliyah, please rise. Ya'amdu. All those who respond to uncertainty by taking action. The blessings are on page 230.
Baruch Adonai Hambara.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. This is how we have to do it. And Zoom people, I want to hear you loudly too. If you're up for this Aliyah, we're on page 230. If you mess up the Hebrew, I don't mind, but I need to hear your voices. I've missed you. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Adonai Hambara.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambara Le'olam Va'ed. Kohanim, Vatavanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai, Notain HaTorah.
Amen.
Elav Abraham Vayomer Hineni Vayomer Hachna Et Pincha Et Yehidah Asher Ahata Et Yitzchak Velech Lecha Ha'aretz Hamoria V'halehu sham le'olah echad keharim asher amar elecha. Vayishem Abraham haboker v'yahavo shetam moro v'yakach et shenei na'arav Yitao, yet Yitzchak beno, Vayikach etzei olah, Vayikam vayelech el hamohom, Asher malo ha'elohim. Vayom hashlishi, vayisa Abraham et einav, v'yarech et hamakom miraho. Vayomer Abraham el einav, shulechem po imcha chamor, v'yani v'hana'ar necha ad ko v'nishachave v'nishuva Elohim. Vayikach Abraham et etzei ha'olah, vayisam Yitzchak beno, vayikach biyado et ha'esh v'et ha'malachelek v'yalpo shneichem yachdav.
We follow along in the translation on page 240. And so it was that after these events, God put Abraham to a test. And God said to him, Abraham. And he said, here I am. And God said, come, take your son, your only one whom you love, Isaac, and go forth to the land of Moriah to offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I will show you.
And Abraham rose early in the morning and harnessed his donkey and took with him his 2 young servants and his son Isaac. And he split the burnt offering wood, and he rose and departed for the place that God had said to him.
On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw a place in the distance. And Abraham said to his young servants, you stay here with the donkey while the boy and I go further on. We will worship and return to you. And Abraham took the burnt offering wood, placed it on his son Isaac, and took in his own hand the firestone and the knife. And the 2 of them walked together.
If you were standing for the Aliyah, I will invite you to rise again.
Baruch atah Adonai.
1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu et Torah temet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautifully canted, Cheryl. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who take action, who respond to the questions, to the uncertainty, not with hopelessness, but in small ways, knowing that we can make a difference. The second Aliyah, my pleasure to invite up Jamie Moshe, who will be chanting Torah for us this morning. And the second Aliyah is a blessing for all of you who have responded to this uncertainty by questioning. Now, by questioning, I don't mean the kind of questioning that I do late at night on my phone when I should be sleeping, scrolling and Googling. Instead, I mean the kind of questioning that is about taking time to ask deep questions, to figure out where we should be going and how, by listening to evidence, by talking in community. There are a lot of different questions that we have had to ask ourselves, and that not everyone has always been able to take the time to ask. But we believe as Jews that the questions are what lead us out of the darkness. As the representative for this Aliyah, I want to honor the people who have served, the members of our congregation who served on our medical advisory committee and our reopening committee. The 5 doctors who served on this committee, in addition to other members of the congregation, answered so many questions from the cantor and me and Jill. I don't even want to tell you how long these emails were and how many of them were, so that we could be together today and so that so much else of what goes on at Beth David is possible. These same doctors who tirelessly and patiently and thoughtfully answered our questions here, of course, are also asking questions from patients, the questions of research that will lead us forward. So it's my honor as the representative to invite up Dr. David Whalen, a member of our board of trustees, and rising on Zoom. We can't see you, but Zoom people, we know you can see each other. I also want to invite to rise Drs. Angela Aliyah, Emily Blumberg, and Larry Ward, who are all with us virtually today. If you have been asking questions, whether as part of your professional calling, or if you have been the voice in your family or in your circle of friends who takes the time to stop and ask the deep questions, please rise in your place for this Aliyah. Blessing is on page 230. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham Aviv, Vayomer Aviv, Vayomer Hineni Beni, Vayomer Hi Hashish V'Haitzim Ve'i Vayachaseh Le'olam. Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yirah lo Haseh Le'olam Beni V'yalchu Shneichem V'hadru Yiva Hamakom Asher Amaro HaElohim Yivein Shem Abraham et Hamatzpia Vaya'aro Vaya'it HaMitzvim Vaya'od et Ha'chano V'yashem Echo Sento Al HaMizbeach Mimal Le'asei.
And Isaac said to his father Abraham, he said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." And he said, "Here's the firestone and here's the wood, but where is the sheep for a burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "God will see to the sheep for a burnt offering, my son." And the two of them walked together.
And they came to a place that God had said to him, and there Abraham built the altar and arranged the wood and bound his son Isaac and placed him on the altar over the wood.
One, please rise if you're joining us for this Aliyah. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayolam neta betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you to all of you for your questions, for helping us pursue them. The third Aliyah I want to offer as a blessing to those of you who are finding your way through this uncertainty through faith. Whether that means faith in God, whether it means faith in each other, faith in science, faith that things will be okay, just trusting the process. And if perhaps you have not been able to find that kind of faith at all this year, but perhaps in the new year, you hope that it might find you, then this Aliyah is for you too. As a representative for this Aliyah, I want to invite up Lisa Schreiber. Lisa's family had a tragic loss this year when Michael's sister Elaine died. And not only did her family carry this grief and support each other and their extended family through this difficult time, but they also joined us in those days when we could be inside in the sanctuary, a brief window for what we're pretty sure is Beth David's first trip mitzvah of not just twins, but of 3 siblings together. And we were so joyful to be able to call Scarlett and Ella and Charlie all to the Torah. The first large service that we were able to have in the sanctuary together. For all of you whose faith, whose trust in something has gotten you through this, and for those of you looking for it, finding it this year, I invite you to rise. The blessing is on page 230.
And we also call up Steph Austin to chant Torah. Steph Austin.
It's because I knew you would come up with faith anyway.
Okay. Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Okay, we'll wait to make sure we get
You're gonna find the place. I gotta tell you, I missed this so much. I mean, there was a lot that was good about Zoom. We had all sorts of connections. The technology is really interesting. We did amazing creative things. It changed the way we pray forever. But I really missed hearing you say the words of this Aliyah. I have to tell you.
Okay, we're all set.
We're all set. Okay, Steph is set with the Torah. Everyone with faith or looking for faith, please rise. 1, 2, and on Zoom, you rise too, make sure. 1, 2. Oh, and Scarlett is on Zoom. Scarlett, we see you on Zoom too. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vayishlach Abraham et yado vayikach et hama'achelet bishchot et beno vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim vayomer Abraham Abraham vayomer hineni vayomer al tishlach yadecha el hana'ar ve'al taslo ne'uma ki atah yadati ki yireh Elohim atah ve'lo hasachta et pincha yehidecha mimeni. Vayis Avraham et einav vayor v'hinei ayil ahar nehas basbach v'karnav vayilach Avraham vayikach et ha'ayil vaya'alehu le'olah tachat beno vayikra Avraham Shem hamakom hahu Adonai Yerah Asher Yamer Hayom Behar Adonai Yerah. Oh, sorry. Vayikra. Oh, now I can't remember. Vayikra. Malach Adonai El Abraham Shemit Min Hashamayim. Vayomer Bi Mishpati Le'em Adonai Hi Yahan Asher Asita Et Hadavar Hazeh Velo Hasachta Et Pincha Yehidecha Hivareh Avarechecha Beharba Arbe Et Zaracha Ki hofeh hashamayim ve'haho asher al sefat hayam vayirach zaracha et sha'ar oyevaha v'hitbaruchu v'zaracha kol goyei haaretz ekev Asher shamata b'koli vayishav Avraham el mi'arav vayatmu vayahu yachdav el be'er shava vayeshev Avraham be'er shava. Beautiful. I need the mic for a second. Sorry.
And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And a messenger of Adonai called to him from heaven, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am.
And the messenger said, Do not lay your hand on the boy. Do nothing to him. For now I know that you are in awe of God, since you would not deny me, your son, your only one.
And Abraham lifted his eyes, and suddenly he saw in the thicket a ram caught by its horns. And Abraham took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering in place of his son. And Abraham called that place by the name Adonai Yireh. Adonai will see, as it is said on this day, on this mountain of Adonai, there is seeing.
And a messenger of Adonai called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, By myself I swear, declares Adonai, that because you have acted thus and would not deny me, your son, your only one, I will bless you greatly, and I will multiply your seed like stars in the sky and like sand by the sea. Your offspring shall possess the gate of its foes, and all the earth's nations shall be blessed through your seed because you hearkened to my voice.
And Abraham turned to his young servants, and they arose, and together they walked to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba.
Please rise for the Aliyah. If you're joining for this Aliyah, all of you who are finding faith or found it. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
We now call up Donna Kramer to assist us with raising the Torah as we invite everyone to please rise as we prepare to return the Torah to the ark. You may be seated.
Year and a half of no duets. Good to hear us sing together. I am not usually the kind of rabbi who writes my High Holy Day sermons months in advance. Okay, if you know me, that's a bit of an understatement. But in February of 2020, I started planning a sermon that I knew I wanted to give that Rosh Hashanah. The name of the sermon was going to be Always Go to the Funeral. I wanted to give that sermon because back in 2019, I'd been asked a few times explicitly and a whole bunch of other times less directly whether I thought it was necessary, appropriate, or even polite for someone to attend a funeral. Rabbi, do you know if they're expecting a big crowd? People asked me from time to time. It's a pretty busy day for me, but I'll come if you think it might be too small. Rabbi, I really wasn't that close to him, people said to me with all the best intentions. I think it might just seem strange if I show up. Maybe I should just pay a Shiva call instead or send a card. Each time I was asked one of those questions, I remembered a piece I had heard of NPR more than 15 years ago, bearing the same name as the sermon that I meant to give, and I suppose the one that I am giving today. Deirdre Sullivan wrote about the life lesson her father had instilled in her when she was 16 years old and desperate to avoid going to her 5th grade teacher's funeral. Dee, he said to her, you're going. Always go to the funeral. So there I was, February of 2020, for the first time ever, I think, all set with my sermon topic, months in advance of Rosh Hashanah. And then came March. The world turned upside down in so many different incomprehensible ways in March of 2020. But as a rabbi, one of the most heartbreaking for me was that suddenly nobody could go to the funeral. In the early months of the pandemic, when things were shut down and chaotic, and we didn't yet know very much about how the virus spreads, every cemetery came up with its own guidelines to try and keep people safe. When someone died and the family and I began to plan the funeral, they would ask me what the rules were. The most important question being, who was allowed to come? The answer was different for every cemetery, and the guidelines were constantly in flux. The funeral directors, working overtime in a chaos of heartbreak, they'd try to figure out the answer. At some cemeteries, funeral attendance was capped at 20 people. At others, it was set at 12. Does that include me? I asked the funeral directors. Does it include you? In the early days of the pandemic, Cantor Goodlev and I never went to the same funeral because of the attendance caps at cemeteries, and because for several months, the Cantor and I tried to avoid ever being in the same place to reduce the chances that both of your clergy got sick at the same time. Your Cantor loves you so much, she could barely stand staying home. So she started recording herself singing, personalizing the prayers each time. And I played the recordings on a little Bluetooth speaker at the cemetery. In some cases, and some of you know this all too well, even the closest mourners couldn't go to the funeral. Some of you had to Zoom into your own loved ones' funerals because after sitting at their bedside when they were sick, you were in quarantine during their funeral. Some of you couldn't be at your loved ones' funerals because it wasn't safe to travel, or because even if you did travel, you would be in quarantine too long to be able to attend. So the synagogue began sending out emails. I know you got a lot of them. We regret to inform you that a precious soul has died. Due to COVID, the funeral is private. We regret to inform you of yet another death. Due to COVID, there will be no Shiva. I couldn't give my sermon last year telling you to go to the funeral because you weren't allowed to go. Earlier this morning, in the Zoom-only sanctuary service, I introduced a theme that I will be talking about throughout the high holidays this year. If it seems a little esoteric, bear with me. This sacred wisdom to teach us. The Torah describes a mitzvah that every 7 years, farmers in the land of Israel must let their fields lie fallow. No planting, no pruning, no harvesting. The Torah calls this year Shemitah, which we often translate as the sabbatical year, since it's a kind of Shabbat for the land. Just as we are commanded to rest on the seventh day, so too are we commanded to let our land rest in the seventh year. But the word Shemitah is more literally translated as the year of release. In the seventh year, we release control of our fields. We let the land lie fallow and grow wild, and whatever it produces does not belong to us, but to anyone who might find it walking through. Shemitah comes every 7 years, and it just so happens that today, this Rosh Hashanah, is the first day of the new Shemitah year. Today, not last year, is the year of release. Shemitah is observed as an agricultural practice in the land of Israel, even today. But increasingly, it is also understood as a spiritual practice for Jews all around the world. Even if we are not farmers, we can incorporate the spiritual lessons of Shemitah into our lives this year. I spoke this morning about the Shemitah year that is now beginning as an invitation for us to pause and to think about what it would mean to slow down this year. As eager as all of us are to return to normalcy, Shemitah reminds us to give ourselves time to grieve, to heal, and to rest, rather than rushing headlong into this year. I want to add now, Shemitah is also an invitation to pull back enough from our regular lives this year to make space to reflect on the past year and a half, on what we experienced, what we learned, and how we want this experience to change the way we live in the future. One of the surprises of the past year and a half was how many silver linings there turned out to be to some of the restrictions placed on our lives. So many of you told me how special it was having dinner as a family every night. I heard how glad you were for a slower pace, for the forced opportunity to spend more time outdoors, to bake your own bread, to get to know your neighbors. And of course, some of the most important lessons of this year came from the most painful things we witnessed and endured. We learned the hard way how much we used to take for granted: comfortable homes, trusted friendships, small talk at the office, our health, the freedom to go to the grocery store unafraid, the ability to stop by and visit our mother in a nursing home, to give a hug, or to go to the funeral. Always go to the funeral. COVID taught us that better than I ever could. Because here's what happened this year. Even though you couldn't go, you still found ways to come. You watched on screens, even when the audio was terrible. You called into Zoom Shiva from all around the world, even when it was the middle of the night in your time zone. We had to upgrade Beth David's Zoom account because so many of you were calling in. You told stories that made everyone laugh long after the Zoom meeting was scheduled to finish. Once the cemeteries allowed it, you showed up, driving long distances when you couldn't get on a plane. You stood outside in frigid weather when we couldn't be inside. And while I saw many grieving families who were very moved by all the people, and sometimes just by one person who showed up unexpectedly, I never saw them wonder why. They knew why. It's because their loved one mattered. And they were grateful that you knew it too. Always go to the funeral. Will we? After this? Will the lessons stick? We have the opportunity, perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, to let our lives and our society be transformed by the lessons we have learned from COVID. But this transformation is not guaranteed. It is not automatic. We are experts at status quo. It will be hard not to fall into old habits. There will be meetings on our calendars, bosses and coaches who want us somewhere else. It will be hard not to start hearing the voice that asks, do I really need to go? Shemitah, the year of release, is a year to pause. Judaism's invitation to us. Slow down enough this year to figure out who we want to be when we emerge from this. Let enough fields lie fallow in your life this year that you have space to process what you have been through and what you have learned from it. The year of release has begun. Release, this new year calls to us. Release the need to rush back to what used to be. Release the busyness. Take the time to figure out what matters most and how we want to live when COVID releases us. Drink in the sweetness this new year. Let everything else go just a little bit.
I release and I let go. 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 At this point in the service, we soak in those words of Torah. We think of how we might release and let go. And we think of those in need of healing, those in need of healing of mind, of body, of spirit. If there is someone here that you are thinking about that is in need of healing, I invite you to say your name as my eyes meet yours. And to those joining us on Zoom and Facebook Live, please type those names in the chat box so that those who are online might see those names. And Rabbi Kalish and I will be sure to see that chat box later so that we might add those names to our prayers as well. For those who are here, add your names when my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned and those that remain in our hearts, we sing together the words of Mishaberach on page 245. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Ami Shebera Avotenu Mikol HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We rise for Avinu Malkeinu, page 224.
Avinu Malkeinu,
my pleasure to call up Steve Mesro to lead us in the blasts of the shofar. You can follow with the blessings on page 206.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu azman hazeh. We invite you to please rise and turn to page 284. Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah.
To the people on Zoom, it wasn't frozen. It was really that long. You may be seated. Keep that call in your heart. Our thoughts turn now to those who are no longer with us, those who died in the past year of 5781, those who died this season, the turning of the year, those who we wish were sitting at our tables next to us in the straw and on Zoom, the ones we're thinking of. If you are saying Kaddish for a loved one, then I'll invite you to add it out loud now, or if you're joining us on Zoom or on Facebook Live, to add it in the chat. You can rise if you have a name that you'd like to share first. For all those whose names we share out loud and in writing, and for the ones that are in our hearts, we offer these words of devotion and memory. Kaddish is found on page 292. Yitgadal V'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Yalmad Yivrach Yurtei V'yamlich Malchutei. V'chayachon u'vyomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam u'lemei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shemei d'kudashah barichu. Le'ela mikol u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushvachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru.
Amen.
Amen. May their memories be for blessing. You may be seated. A benediction for the new year. May we never again, this is by my colleague, Rabbi Aliyah Goldstein. May we never again take for granted the offered handshake from a stranger new to this congregation, a quick catch-up conversation with the people in the row behind us, a crowded Kol Nidre, singing together in harmony, sight of the children rushing in to call out the shofar blasts, the taste of a small cup of Kiddush grape juice, being together in synagogue. May we never again take for granted breathing deeply without a mask, making plans for the future, crossing a border, ease of travel, a busy airport, a birthday party with hugs, having loved ones hold your children, hugging, sharing a sandwich, human contact, coffee with a friend, physical touch, family, our belief in science, the sacredness of connection, life itself. This year, may we be the people we wanted to become last year. May this coming year be better than the one which has passed because of the one that has passed. May we stay strong for each other because we have experienced weakness. May we stay bound to each other because we have experienced isolation. May our new normal be better than the one we think we will return to. Please rise for the most ancient blessing our tradition has to give.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha.
May God shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's light and warmth turn to shine upon you. And may whatever this year holds, may it be a year where inside our hearts, in the gathering, virtual and in person of this congregation, may we find sweetness, may we find blessing, may we find peace. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. You may be seated. We have one closing song, new words. So please look on your pamphlets for these words. Look on the screen. We'll be sharing that for those of you joining us online. Song called Begin Again. It was commissioned just this year by the 92nd Street Y and composed by Alana Arian, one of our favorite composers. And so we sing it together as we celebrate this new year as one. Amen. 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 We begin again. We begin in hope. We begin with believing. We begin with our hearts looking open to all of the gifts we're receiving. We begin in faith. We begin with returning. We begin with our minds broken open to lessons we never stop learning. We begin again. Amen. Amen. We begin again. We begin in strength. We begin seeking justice. We begin with our arms stretching open to welcome the weary among us. Begin again. Begin again. May the sweetness of this union never end. Begin again. Begin again. May we never take for granted where we've been. We begin again. Amen. 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 We begin again. We begin in truth. We begin with forgiveness. We begin with our eyes focused open and notice the sacred within us. Begin again. Begin again. May the sweetness of this new year never end. Begin again. Begin again. May we never take for granted where we've been. We begin again. Amen. Amen. We begin again.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.